Welcome back. Well, it's no longer news that the central bank has ended the sales of forex to bureau de change operators. One of the reasons includes the notion that the parallel market has become a conduit for illicit forex flows and graft. Consequently, weekly sales of foreign exchange by the CBN will go directly to commercial banks. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, said this at the MPC, the last MPC meeting. Well, to shed more light on this, we have the immediate past Director General of LCCI, that's Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, sharing his thoughts on some of the impacts we expect to see on this. Good morning, Dr. Yusuf. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. So let's start with how important are the bureau de change operators in the chain of business operations in the country?
They are very important because of the retail structure of their business. And you know what the Nigerian economy is. The informal economy, for instance, accounts for well over 50% of our GDP. Those in the SME segments account for quite a sizable number of operations in the economy, as high as maybe 70 or 80%, either in terms of economic activities or in terms of job creation. And these levels of businesses had a lot more interaction with the bureau de change operators. And don't forget, the bureau de change processes are not too cumbersome, they are not rigorous, they are not bureaucratic, they are very quick, prompt, and these are the kind of transactions that the small businesses, those in the retail sector, are comfortable with. Unlike what we have in the banking system, where you have very rigorous documentation, processes, bureaucracy, and all of that. All of those things slow down the momentum of business, the tempo of economic activities. But with the bureau de change operators, things are much faster. And in business, you need speed, you need timeliness, you need all those things, you need promptness. So to that extent, I think the bureau de change operators are very important segments of the Nigerian economy.
So this allegation by the CBN that they've become a conduit for illicit forex flows and graft, how has that affected business? I mean, before now, how has that affected business?
Well, I think first of all, we need to define rules. When it comes to issues of illicit transactions, money laundering, and all of that, of course, the CBN should be concerned, but I think there are statutory institutions that normally should be handling such things, so that we don't saddle with the CBN with things that could become a very big distraction, or perhaps the CBN should not saddle itself with things that would be constituting a major distraction. If there are instances of that, we have the EFCC, we have the law enforcement agencies, these things could be referred to them and they deal with it. But more importantly, what we need to worry about is about the way we manage the foreign exchange market itself. Because there are all sorts of abuses, granted, and I appreciate the concern of the central bank about having to curb these abuses. But what we are seeing is that the CBN, or what generally we are dealing with now, are the symptoms, not the causes of the problem. The major problem we are having in the foreign exchange market is a pricing issue. We have a situation where we have an exchange rate regime that is fixed. It's not that it's only fixed, it is fixed far below what is the equilibrium price in the market. And once you have that, you are dealing with a subsidy management problem. And managing subsidy regime in this environment is a very, very difficult task. Now we have the official window, which is the NAFEX window, which a lot of transactions are to go through. Exchange rate at that window is 410. Exchange rate in the open market, which is the operational exchange rate, is 500 naira to the dollar. So how do you sustain that? That is a major problem, causing a lot of distortions, breeding a lot of rent seekers, a lot of parasites in the system, creating a lot of abuses, and creating a lot of uncertainties in the market. So the problem here is the way we are fixing the exchange rate and degenerating into administrative allocation of foreign exchange. We have gone through this part in the past. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable. So what we need to do is to put policies in place that will eliminate this arbitrage opportunity. There are so many people in the foreign exchange market today on the demand side. They are there because they are rent seekers. They want to take advantage of arbitrage opportunities. They are putting a lot of pressure on the foreign exchange market, on our reserves, just because there is these opportunities for rent. That is where the problem is coming from. So we need to price.
How do you say we take care of that problem, Doctor? How do you think we can take care of that problem, especially these rent seekers that are infiltrating the market? Because, I mean, you're supposed to be licensed before you can work or operate in that market. Now, we have these illegal persons, operating there. How do you suggest we deal with that problem?
The way to do with that problem is to float the naira or ensure a unification of rates, eliminate these multiple rates that you have in the foreign exchange market. I mean, look at the number of licenses you have for BDCs. Even the central bank alluded to that. Look at the number that is even on the waiting list. What are they looking for? They are looking to take advantage of the rent, of the premium. So let us remove that. Once we remove that, we bring some sanity into the system. And the way to remove it is to ensure the unification of rates. On one hand, we want to strengthen the naira. We want to encourage inflows. On the other hand, we have policies that are obstructing inflows. And let me elaborate on that. If you are bringing in foreign exchange as an exporter, you will get the exchange rate of 410 to the dollar. If you are coming in as a foreign direct investment, your dollars will be exchanged at 410 to the dollar. The same thing with embassies, the same thing with oil companies. Is that not discouraging the inflow of foreign investment or foreign inflows? And yet we need the supply of these currencies to come in. So what we are saying is that let us liberalize the market as much as possible. If there are instances of what we call market failures, we can come up with strategies to deal with that. If we liberalize the market, there will be calmness, there will be sanity, and the exchange rate will even appreciate. Because right now, we are driving a lot of businesses underground. A lot of businesses are now taking place outside the country. People will pay naira here, they will get their dollars abroad. That is not the way to run an economy. So these things are creating a whole lot of distortion. And I don't know why the CBN is averse to allow the market system to operate in the foreign exchange market. That is the root of the problem. So if you want to boost supply, let us liberalize the market. Let whoever is bringing the exchange rate have the opportunity of enjoying the prevailing market rate. And with that way, a lot of inflows will come in outside from oil. It will reduce the pressure on the CBN. It will remove all these distractions that the CBN is facing. That is the way I think we should go.
Okay, but now
we are talking all this subsidy problem, all these parasites in the foreign exchange market, all these rent seekers. It's creating a lot of distraction for us, and it's distorting the economy.
So now that the CBN has said its weekly, flow of forex will go directly to the commercial banks, and I mean the CBDs, they have to find a way to get their own supply. That's the BDCs, I beg your pardon. They have to find their own. Now, how do you see the commercial banks managing it? I mean, some people have said if there was abuse before, there's the fear of even greater abuse now since everybody has to go to the commercial banks. How do you see them managing this to avoid that abuse?
You see, for as long as we have this premium, the very problem that we accuse the BDs of will now be translated now to the banks. Those problems will still continue to manifest. Those who are on that desk, they are not angels, they are human beings. And for as long as you have these opportunities, those abuses will still continue. It's like kicking the can down the road. You are kicking the can from the BDCs, you are kicking it to the commercial banks. Those problems will still continue. You still continue to have all these underground bills. Something will be put on the table as the official rate. Something will be paid under the table to make for the premium. That is not the solution. We are still going to have the same problem. So the solution is to allow the market to function. The CBN should stop obstructing the market. If there are needs for intervention, there can be strategies for intervention on the demand side, or more importantly, on the supply side. Otherwise, we continue to run in circles, and these things will continue to create liquidity crisis in the foreign exchange market. So that is the way to bring some calmness into the system.
Do you see the CBN reverse? I mean, this is not the first time they're taking this decision. Do you see them reversing very soon?
Well, I see them reversing if they want to relate to the reality. Because economics is a science, even though it's a social science. It's a science because you can easily predict outcomes. That is what science is all about. You have this kind of policy, you can predict the outcomes. When you have a huge gap between demand and supply, and you fix your rate far below the equilibrium rate, you are going to have a lot of problems on your hands. How many people do you want to police? We have had similar experience with the fertilizer subsidy. We know what we went through as a country. When trailer loads of fertilizers, even accompanied with military men, were disappearing. We are having the same problem with petrol subsidy. It's still a problem we are contending with up to today. Talking about smuggling of petroleum products outside the country, have we been able to stop it? So on top of that, we are now having this foreign exchange subsidy problem. It's a subsidy management problem. And it's a very, very difficult problem to deal with. So we should stop suppressing the market, because it is like swimming against the tide. If you try to suppress the market, people will find other ways around it. I just told you, a lot of transactions are now taking place outside the banking system here. A lot of transactions are now taking place offshore in various countries. People have their accounts there. They have Naira account here. You pay them Naira here. They do transaction for you abroad. That is not good for the economy. That's not good for liquidity that you want to ease in the foreign exchange market. It's not even good for our reserves, because this problem is putting a lot more pressure on the reserve, which is not a good thing, because we are attracting a lot of spurious demands. We are attracting a lot of speculators into the system. That is not good. So I'm hoping that the CBN and all the economists in the CBN will sit down and look at these things properly and put proper propositions on the table, because this is not sustainable. I can tell you that.
All right, some people have also said that a more lasting solution will come with dealing with the supply. And unfortunately, like we discussed with our first guest, capital importation is declining, which is where we're actually supposed to be getting, this forex that we're talking about. Because, I mean, if supply is sufficient, then I believe we will not have to take some of these steps that we see.
The problem is that the policy itself is obstructing supply. That is the problem. If you want to bring in FX into this economy today, you are going to be exchanging your FX at 410. When you know that the open market is 500, will you bring the FX? The exporters have been complaining for several years. They bring in the export proceeds, and we say we want to encourage exports, and we are exchanging the export proceeds at 410. I now accuse people that they are not filling NXP form, they are not doing this. It's about the legitimacy of the policy. For you to elicit compliance, policy itself must be legitimate. That is the issue. So if you want to encourage supply, you need to liberalize the rates at which people can bring in their supply. If you are imposing a rate of 410 on the export proceeds, on foreign direct investors, on the embassies, on the oil companies, you are discouraging them from bringing in the foreign exchange into the economy. And you are boosting what we call the underground economy. You drive a lot of businesses underground. That is not healthy for the economy. So that is what we need to do. That is why capital importation is also dwindling. And it's not good for our reputation as a country. Because once we continue to have all this crisis liquidity problem in the foreign exchange market, this has a very negative signaling effect. And part of the reason you are having that is the policy that is obstructing the supply of forex into the economy, and a policy that is encouraging even more demand. It's a contradiction in terms when we relate it to the objective that we seek to achieve. So I'm hoping that this policy will be reversed because it is clearly not sustainable.
Okay, so we know that, accessing FX before now was difficult for manufacturers, a lot of business people with whom you communicate with. Could you tell us their feel? It's just about 3 days since this ban has been put in place. Has it been more difficult? Has it been easier? Is it still the same thing?
Well, a lot of anxiety is in the air. A lot of investors, businesses are jittery. And this is already, reflecting in some prices. People are now already going back to the drawing board to adjust prices because they are reading that, okay, this will have implications for costs. And this is not in any way going to solve the fundamental problems of restoring confidence into the system. It's not going to. So, well, it's still early days maybe, but what I do know is that the problem we are running away from in the BDCs, we'll be replicating those same problems with the banks if we continue to impose an exchange rate that is not sustainable, that is not realistic. Those problems will continue to be there. There's a fundamental issue of pricing, of eliminating subsidies, of eliminating speculators, of eliminating rent seekers, of eliminating parasites in the foreign exchange market. That is what we need to do. Once the confidence returns, a lot of things will begin to happen on the surface, not on the ground. And more monies will continue to come in. So what we are seeing now is a manifestation or symptoms of a defective foreign exchange policy, foreign exchange pricing policy. That is what it is.
So assuming that the central bank decides, like today, to reverse its decision and bring back the BDCs into operation, what other regulation or guidelines would you suggest that the CBD puts in place so it will eliminate most of these things, at least in the short term? I know in the long term we have more work to do to make the space cleaner than it was before.
What we need to do, I think Bismarck also alluded to this on your program. We should stop offering, even to the BDCs, something that is carrying that kind of huge premium. The premium is too much. If you know that the operating exchange rate is about 500, you can create a margin of maybe 10 naira or something, and then take it at 490. 495. I mean, don't create opportunities for those who have no business in the BDCs to now be carrying BDC licenses all over the place. Many people are carrying the licenses not because they are operators of BDCs. They just collect the BDC allocation, sell without even opening any shop. That is not the kind of businesses we want to encourage. So let us eliminate all those margins, and let us reduce the level of regulation. The system is over-regulated. And when you over-regulate a system, you drive a lot of transactions into the informal economy. You drive a lot of transactions under the table. It's not healthy for the system. So let us reduce the regulatory system. Let us reduce the premium. Once we do that, I think some sanity will be restored, and the CBN itself will have some peace. They'll be less distracted. They can focus more on core monetary policy issues, financial stability, price stability. That is the core function. But this is creating a lot of distraction because it's a very, very difficult thing to manage, just as we have seen with many other subsidy regimes, and just as we have seen even in 2016, we had this similar problem until we now brought in the I&E window in 2016. This was the kind of crisis we had. At the moment we brought a window that was a market window, it brought a lot of stability into the system. But today, the NAFEX window is not a market window. because the rates here are not market rates. They are fixed rates, which itself is a contradiction. Those are the fundamental issues we need to deal with.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Muda Yusuf, the immediate past Director General of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and your helpful thoughts with us this morning. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ine. Thank you.
So we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll head straight to London. Do stay with us.